Well, this has been really fun. We're pushing an hour here, so I was kind of like to end with just asking, but if you had maybe a tip or two that for like new authors or people just getting into this, or even someone jumping into the self-publishing world, what would be some advice that you had for them?
For somebody just starting out, I would say just write. Just write the book, get it done. There's a lot of, well, I found and have found with some people that I've spoken to, that there's a lot of hesitation about being ready, and how many times they're going to have to do, how many drafts they have to do. Just get it written, get it out there, maybe do a second draft, get some feedback, preferably not from a spouse or a family member, a friend or somebody who's got some experience with writing or in the industry. If they're willing to give it to you, that's really helpful. Always make sure you hire an editor. They're expensive, but a good editor is worth their weight in gold, not just for typos and grammar, but for story, for manuscript development. So an assessment of what you've written and the story that you've produced, the breakdown of the characters and characterization, all that sort of stuff, and learn from those things, because it's real. I'm not saying it's real life, but this is the work. This is an expert in their field, and that's what you're looking for. Most freelance editors will have a day job as well, but there are some out there who that's all they do is freelance editing. So finding a good freelance editor who will take the time to point out things you're doing wrong, listen to them, learn from them, and just using Pro Writing Aid to go through your manuscript or something, it's not enough. You really need another person who's got a degree behind them, and you're paying for feedback. It's worth it. It's expensive, but it is worth it 100%. And I'd never put a manuscript out there that I hadn't had a real life person who's a professional go over it. I spent a lot of money on the blood of the spear before I got it out there in terms of editing, which is funny because some of the reviews are like, "I need a good editor." And it's like, well, it's had multiple good editors go through it. So, any mistakes in there are mine, not theirs.
Yeah.
So that's the big advice. It's do the writing and find a good editor, a reputable one, who won't be afraid to say to you, "This isn't working." One of my final editors who I worked with, who also on Blood of the Spear and who did our binder for me, one of the first things she said to me was like, "Okay, the first 10 chapters, they're just boring." And so she said it was really hard for her to say, but she had to say it because she wouldn't be doing her job otherwise. And I basically ripped those out and reworked them, took the pieces that were needful, the information that was needed for the story, and wrote a whole new first chapter and a couple of other chapters to take the place of the 10 that I pulled out. But you want an editor who's going to tell you things like that. That's not to say that what you write isn't going to work and it's not going to be, require minimal work, but sometimes it requires more than you were expecting, and having somebody who is able to say that to you is invaluable. Yeah. So do the writing, just do it. Don't hold back. You don't need to wait and get yourself ready. There is no I think motivation is garbage. It's never there when you need it. Just do the work. Nobody's going to do it for you, and you learn as you go, and then find an editor, a good editor.